أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Wetland habitat productivity and process being linked to the cycle and seasons or getting adversely affected due to the seasonal changes in the precipitation and runoff. While the major lakes like the Dal and the Wuller have shrunk considerably, many smaller water bodies and seasonal ponds have completely disappeared. Most of the wetlands have less biodiversity in terms of flora and fauna compared to the situation about half a century ago. In the process, obnoxious weeds and other aquatic life have succeeded in more productive and useful biota. The migratory birds have changed their cycle, while some of them stay here even during summer. Others do not return even winters. The waterfall that used to migrate here during winter months stays here for most of the year. Some birds like hoopoe, which were seen in flocks in spring have wholly disappeared. Many others like Katish have completely disappeared. Rapid melting of the Kolhai Glacier, one of the largest glaciers of the Kashmir Himalayas, has evoked concern among environmentalists who suggest for immediate measures to at least minimize its melting rate. Kolhai has shrunk 18% during the past 3 decades due to increase in temperature caused by high levels of pollution by the emission of greenhouse gases by ever increasing vehicles and cement plants. Besides increased human activity near the glacier, particularly by the Gujars and Bagirwals, significant increase in the number of pilgrims and tourists in the eco-sensitive region around the Amarnath shrine is also a reason for melting of this glacier. In Jammu and Kashmir, the Energy and Resource Institute (TRI) has selected the Kolhai Glacier in the West Leather Valley as one of the index glaciers for long-term monitoring. Leather Valley covers an area of more than 1 square kilometer and it sustains about 48 glaciers, covering an ice around covered area of 39 square kilometers. It is important to establish an index glacier in this region for assessing the water resource availability to the communities in the valley. Scientific studies conducted on the glacier will last for 5 years, after which Terry will recommend measures to bring down the glacier recession rate. The observation and hydrological simulations from the Little and the Sindh rivers are showing increased discharge trends due to increase in glacier melt runoff, and the snow cover has progressively declined in both the basins. Several small glaciers have disappeared completely in some areas. Thickness of glaciers has reduced by more than two-thirds, which most of the springs that are fed by the glaciers in the valley have also dried up. Climate change has an impact not only on environment but also on society and economy. The potential consequences of climate change have also been established beyond doubt at the global level, among with the fact that humans have been largely responsible for the change. The changes in the average global temperature during the last century are larger that can be explained by natural changes alone. 11 of the last 12 years have been the hottest since the recording of temperature started in 1850. Climate change impacts on different sectors in the state of Jammu and Kashmir are already evident and need to be assessed scientifically for each sector. Preliminary results from the research carried out in the University of Kashmir suggest that depending upon the level of future emissions, the average temperature increase in the valley by the end of 21st century would be between 2 and 3 degrees centigrade. Erratic snowfall, hotter summers, climate variability, and change of both precipitation and temperature will affect livelihoods. Therefore, understanding assessment of climate change impacts on water resources is critical for water resource planning, hydropower development, and protection against flooding so that we can secure life on the earth for our future generations. In the backdrop of looming water crisis in most of Asia, we, the custodians of the water tower of Asia, cannot afford to be complacent. We need to work with other stakeholders for developing a robust strategy for the sustainable development of water resources in the region. The children of tomorrow will bear the heavy burden of our indifference if we do not act today. Tati बच्चों यूस थोड़ा बहुत या मुतलिक क्लास 8 मुतलिक रात ग्लोबल वार्मिंग परान तम कुछ बे हना और में आज और कंप्लीट करने कोशिश वेटलैंड हैबिटेट वेटलैंड हैबिटेट की तम रोजन जाय अदरे स्प्रिंग वगैरह process being linked to the cycle seasons was getting adversely affected. Jabardast effect due to seasonal change in the precipitation runoff, while the major lakes like the Dal, Wolar considerably. Many smaller water bodies and seasonal ponds have completely seasonal ponds talabs and mostly talabs completely disappeared. Most of the wetlands have less biodiversity, which biodiversity comes and living diversity in terms of flora, plant, and animal compared to the situation about half a century ago. In the process, obnoxious weeds, some weeds, weeds unwanted plant, and other aquatic life have succeeded for more product and useful product useful biota Atmas. Yeah. The migratory birds have changed their cycle. Most cycle change while some of them sit here. Migratory birds get them most change or birds have changed their cycle while some of them sit even here even during summer. Most of the others do not return even in winters. The waterfall that used to migrate even during winter months stays here for most of the year. Some birds like hoopoe, which were seen in flocks in springs, or hardly support, which मुश्किल से नहीं support करना. Many others like Katish have completely disappeared. Rapid melting of the Kolhai Glacier, one of the largest glaciers of the Kashmir Himalayas, have evoked concern among environmentalists. Environment जानवर कोर्मत क्या कोर्मत sectors for immediate measures to at least minimize the melting rate caused by high level of pollution by the emission of greenhouse gases by ever increasing vehicles and cement plants. Besides increased human activity near the glacier, particularly by the Gujars and Bukrawal, significant increase in the number of pilgrims and tourists in the eco-sensitive region around the Amarnath shrine is also a reason for melting of this glacier. In Jammu and Kashmir, the Energy and Resource Institute has selected the Kolhai Glacier in the West Leather Valley as one of the index glaciers for long-term monitoring. Leather Valley covers an area of as much takriban area 500 square kilometer and it sustains about 48 glaciers covering an ice-covered area of 20 square kilometers. It is important to establish an index glacier in this region for assessing the water resource availability to the communities. The index glacier in this region for assess water resource availability to the communities in the valley. Scientific studies conducted on the glacier will last for 5 years, after which TD will recommend measures to bring down the glacier research rate. Glacier research rate क्या गژھِ कम مےٚ باسان صُبحس دِمو أسۍ بیٚیہِ اَتھ نظر اِنشاء اللہ رحمان پوٗرٕ بیٚیہِ لیکھوس یہِ وٲرڈ تہِ پانَے گژھن سپیلِنٛگ وٲرڈ کَران سٲری یُس نہٕ پانَے تَگہِ بیٚیہِ گژھِ پیج تہِ لگاتار لیکھُن اللہ تعالیٰ کَرِ تۄہہِ تہِ حِفاظت اَسہِ تہِ کٔرِنۍ حِفاظت باقٕے وَسلام